Well, hi, good morning. And thank you so much for coming and joining me here in my shop today. Why, it's already September 4th. Oh my gosh. So, yesterday I started fooling around with this tape deck, and my intention was just to kind of assess it. Today I'm going to try to fix it, even though I don't really know what I'm going to do to it, but I'm feeling quite optimistic. So what happened was I got an email yesterday evening about this turntable and had some ideas in it. None of the ideas were directly helpful, but indirectly very helpful. One of the comments was the tape detection trigger may not have been operated. Let me pull this out of here. What's going on here is I was taping back this little piece of felt. Okay. So, oh right, there's often a mechanism to detect when there's no tape. So when the tape runs out, and it just runs out, some lever moves and presto, the machine will stop. Turns out that lever is this one. Now I've got it tied over, you can see with an unusually long twist tie here, I've got this tied over. But if I let this swing all the way over to here, which is where it would go with no tape, you can hear click, 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 click underneath there. This one, no click. So this one's not got any kind of connection to it or sensor or anything like that. So I've tied it over so the machine will run thinking there's tape in it when there isn't a tape in it, because I want to be able to do that. Secondly, this guy here, to my horror, last night when I was in here, I could not make the motor go until I noticed this. This is where the motor control speed lever comes through. And if you notice, it's got 1, 2, 3, but they're separated by 0, 0, 0. 0 means 0. 0 means it's off. So you can turn the motor off in this record player. Some record players you cannot. You turn them on, the motor is just running all the time. Did I say record player? Tape recorder. Well, this guy has a lot of features, so I think they've designed it so it could be utilized perhaps as an amplifier or something of that sort. Or at least you could operate it and not have the motor running unnecessarily for a long time. So this has to be in one of the speed settings, and you can see the big wheel move there. The speed setting is done very similar to a lot of record players. This wheel here is going up and down as I change speed. By the way, this mechanism just feels fantastic. It just, I'm gonna have a big knob here, but so you can see it's just going up a little higher. There you can see it's meeting this large outer ring. So from what I've been reading about this, did I say record player again? This is a intended for the home, but a close to professional quality machine. That's how I understand this. So okay, so now when I engage this, and there's no power and nothing here, we heard this bzzz, kind of like, to me it sounded like gears grinding. Well, that's not what it is. I found out what it is. When I found out what it is, I stopped so I could carry on today with the cameras rolling so you could watch what happens next. So what is making that terrible buzzing sound? Basically a buzzer. A buzzer. I don't think it's meant to buzz. I'm going to show it to you here. This is, I'm able to tip this right up like this. Okay. If you come around here and you look down here, I think I pointed to this maybe before. This is a little relay. And this relay is chattering, and that's what's causing that sound when I try to engage it. Why it's chattering, I don't know. I can see sparks flying in the contacts, little blue sparks. So we're gonna study that relay in the service manual. I have the service manual. I have looked through it. It's not terribly helpful, I don't think. I also watched a video of a guy taking this motor out in order to relubricate this. Well, that's a lot of work. A lot of these cars have to come out, a lot of brackets, springs, all kinds of stuff happening here. So I'm not sure I want to do that. That doesn't look like it needs lubrication, and I can get some in anyway. Just right here, I can get some in. This is the lower bearing, so this is the one that would need a little bit of lubrication. I think it'd be pretty easy just to stick it in there. Maybe his motor was broken. I don't know why he was doing what he did, but I just saw how much work was involved. I see these little pieces here that this is a screw going into a slot, and there's a piece of metal above it, and that's been adjusted to a certain position. The screw's been tightened and paint's been put on it. If I have to loosen that kind of stuff, goodness knows if I'll ever get it back all proper. Or let's put it this way, it might take a lot of effort to get things back in order again. So I don't want to take the motor out. The motor's not a problem in here anyway. So that's what I've learned. Let's take a look at the, since I was in here yesterday, let's take a look at the service manual here. And what we want to try to figure out is, what is that relay's purpose? Why would it not just close? Why is it chattering? That's what we want to try to figure out. Good luck to me. You too. Coffee time. Okay, here's the service manual for the Beocord 2000. Now I've got the 2000 Deluxe here, which I think there is a difference. There is a significant difference. Could be this one is mono and the one I have is stereo. It could be that. So I glanced through this yesterday. Didn't ring any bells for me. Here's a few things. A few instructions right at the start there. Conditions, yeah, measuring conditions. Notice explicative. So, here's a diagram. 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages. Wow. Okay. Explanation of the diagram. Here's another diagram. So this one's loaded with transistors. This one up here looked like it was showing logic gates, or these look more like op amps. I don't know what they're doing up here. So, okay, this looks more like a typical schematic though. Huh. What is all that? Okay, keep your eyes peeled for a relay. You know, it's just going to be in a box, and it's going to say, like, this auto stop, how much you want to bet that's the relay. Once again, you can never collect from me, so, and I can't collect from you either. We're halfway through this now. Here comes the disassembly, assembly, how things are put together. Okay. Mechanical adjustments. Thrust roller. Oh, they call it a thrust roller. Take quite a while to read through this and absorb it. It would take a long time, in fact. Record boost. Bias filter. Bias and recording current. The bias they're talking about, of course, is the bias I mentioned yesterday. It's around 100 kilohertz signal stuck on the tape before you record on it. Talking about different types of tape here. Towards the end. What's this? Wow. All from the Muratron Technical Services in the UK. This is a change you can make in case it's making blob sounds. stop sounds. And we're at the end. So that didn't do much good. Really, I was hoping you'd find an extensive troubleshooting chart, but there isn't one in here. Okay, we need to look at the schematic itself. Now, what have I done with that? What have I done with it? Why, there it is. Okay, let me get the schematic up here. Okay, I can't shrink this down so it fills the screen. We can see an overview. So let's just take a look at the four corners. Here's the top left, top right. Now at the bottom here, it's a deluxe, and then over this way. Lots and lots of these circuit cards on here. Okay, looking for a relay. You know what? I know where it is already, so I'm going to go up and show it to you. Right here. It's right here. It's right here. This is the chattering relay. Auto stop. See, that's why I mentioned, I bet you auto stop is involved. I don't really understand what this is doing. It would look like this is closed normally. And on energization here, this would open. And what would happen? I think you would stop the motor from running. Stop foil. So this caught my attention yesterday too. So a lot of early tape recorders and cassette tapes, some cassette tapes, had tin foil at the very ends of the tape run. And the idea was, as the tape finished, the foil would begin sliding into the recorder, just like the tape, just following the tape. And when the tin hits a certain sensor, just a contact, the tape recorder knows that there's no more playable tape. It's at the end of the tape, and it stops automatically. This has that feature in it, and this is the well, I know where this is. I'm pretty sure I know where this is in the record, in the tape recorder. We can look at it. So this would stop it. Well, this would stop it if it joined these together with some tin foil. Then you would have. This is grounded. So you would have, this is probably a supply. I don't know what all these crazy arrows are. This is probably a supply here. So you ground it here and snap, this relay opens. Stop relays. So that would stop the machine. But this thing is chattering. It's chattering away like crazy. Now, is it normally held open and closed and like held open and then falls closed when the tin comes on? I don't think so. What is this? What is this? Why they got a dotted line going through the middle of it? You have a dotted line here. The dotted line here means iron core. Same thing here, iron core. Well, what's this here for? What I'm thinking is when I look at these diagrams, there's little hints the draftsmen or engineers have put in. They've done things in everything is done by choice and with thought because they're engineers. I'm trying to figure out what their thoughts were. Not doing so well. So, looks like this would be some kind of block or auto stop. An auto stop switch. Because well, wait a minute now. If it's in this, if you throw this switch over here, it's done the same thing as this. So surely this is the relay, because these are shown as contacts here. And this is I don't know. Because this is more than stop. This isn't mechanically stopping the reels from turning. This is stopping the motor from running. Okay, next question. Why would this thing chatter? Even though I don't understand how it works, why would it chatter? it seems to be completely related to a mechanical switch of some sort and this foil thing. Well, what you know what I can fiddle with this foil thing? I can put a short on it and pretend I'm the end of the tape. I can apply an end of tape signal here and see what happens to this relay, which should stop the motor. Can do that. And where is this? You know what this looks like? Yeah, I know what this is. I think I know what this is. This is the there is no tape in the player switch. This is the one I was showing you right at the start, where the tensioner arm has some kind of mechanic, like a micro switch attached to it. And that's what that is, I'm pretty sure. And I have it tied over in the position. Well, I want that relay to be closed. So if it's a normally closed relay, then the switch is in the position. You see it in the diagram right now. I have pulled it open. If you let it close, it'll energize that relay and open the motor relay. So that's really the motor relay switch. That relay there. It chatters away. Well, let's see, when I try to start the machine actually playing, so I'm pushing basically wheels up against the motor, which is already spinning. And what else is happening when I move that lever? The lever, oh boy, where's that explained in here? Now what all those arrows are. Oh my gosh, there's arrows everywhere on this diagram. Let's go back and look at the machine a bit. We'll go back and forth a little bit, and maybe through an iterative process I'll be able to figure out all the bits and pieces. Let's have a look at the machine now. Back and forth we go. Yeah, a lot of this work I find for me is iterative. You got to revisit. Each time you come a little better armed with some kind of knowledge or something like that. Okay, so here's the arm I've got tied off, so it won't swing all this way. Well, that's interesting now. This should click that relay. I don't remember that relay clicking. I remember a little click here where the actual switch is, but the relay's over here and it's quite noisy. So we can fiddle with this. We can swing this around, we can do different things. Now, the tape is fed in. I had it fed a little bit wrong right in here, but I don't think it made any difference to anything. So they've got it arranged so it's as easy as possible for a person putting on the tape. They don't want you to sit here and go like this. That's not what they want. A good machine, the tape goes, it just basically falls in place. And this one, when you engage the mechanism, an awful lot of motion and movement happens. Let's just look at that. So you can see this piece coming out. It's pulling the tape. So now when the machine's engaged, now the tape is kind of wrapped around a little bit. So very nice. So it should be just basically throw the tape in. It's got a little piece here so you don't get it in the wrong spot. In it goes. Pulling this arm over. It's running across all these pieces. This, can you see this? This tall thin one is really a post that this runs on. It's really a post holding it there. That's what that is. No, not involved with the tape, but right next to it is the post the tape is running across. And can you see there's a purple wire on it right down here. There's a purple wire attached to the post. Got to be the case that that purple wire is, so the tape comes through. Okay, it's coming off the reel here. It's coming down around this. So when the tinfoil end comes, it will come here. It will be contacting this. Be contacting this. This is what's important. And then touching the sensitive post along with the wire on it. The moment the tin touches this post, it shuts off. The motor is cut. the relay snaps open and the motor stops. So to fool this machine, we would undo this for now. Okay, listen. So we'll leave it over here. The machine will think there's no tape. You pull this here, the machine thinks there's tape. It should start playing if I've left it in the play mode. Motor set off. I should set the motor on. This is definitely a machine you always want to leave in the off position to keep these wheels apart. This one's always in contact. Not quite. Well, it's just missing there by a fraction. Okay, I think we're ready to try a few things here. Let's now, as soon as that relay starts chattering, I'm not going to want to leave it chattering. Machine is off, although I believe if you pull this up, it comes on at that point too. But let's do this. This is off. This is over. On. Good. Motor on. Good. Now it thinks there's no tape. So if I attempt to play the tape, well, maybe at that point that relay starts chattering. I don't want to move this. This has got power on it. Careful, man. That's where the shocks happen. Okay, we're just going to have to undo this. Just put this over here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so now that did sound like a relay chattering, didn't it? Did it sound like a chattering, or it's closed with a terrible AC voltage it's not expecting? Is that what we're hearing? 60 cycle hum on it? Now this is with this in this position. I thought the motor would stop. Okay, let's pull this around here. Okay, now it's far enough. There's tape. Oh, there's two sounds. Two sounds. There's this one. And then I pull it further. There's a real ugly one. And now there's a third sound. Do you hear that third? Oh, it just faded. What is that third sound? What is that third sound? That third sound makes me nervous. I don't know what it is. Okay. Next test was, so tape has come to an end and the tin foil is touching. Okay, I get some tin foil here. Okay, I'm not going to use tin foil, I'm going to use a clip lead. Move around the clip lead. We'll say, okay, now what happens when the tin foil touches here? Of course, the machine is not in play mode, because when I go put play mode, I get the chatter. I don't want to leave it like that. So maybe in play mode it would do something different than it does now. Nothing's happening there. Or I'm really finding a problem. Or this guy's, hey, wait. Hey, wait a minute. Or my clip lead's no good. That's always possible. Let's not be fooled here. I've given up hours to bad clip leads in the past. Let's just check and make sure. It's good. Well, I got this out. Is there any kind of voltage on this? What would be on that little pin? I'm looking on it myself. Doesn't show anything. It's got a button here. I'll show you the plate for it. This is on the plate here. Oh, it's not on the plate. Okay, so the button I'm going to talk about in a moment comes up through this little gap here. It's right here. That button is labeled, I can't show you the label right now, 2-4. So one position it's 2, the other position it's 4. What's it talking about? 2 tracks or 4 tracks. That's why I think this has the potential to be a 4-track recorder, especially with the sound on sound setting over here. So I think that's what that is. It shouldn't make any difference to anything. Look, it's all hooked up wires up to these record and play heads. What to try next? Why? So I don't fully understand the purpose of the relay, or at least how it's activated. Not 100% yet. And why it would chatter. So we got to figure out what all is going on with this switch. I mean, there's a lot of mechanical stuff going on, but obviously there's a little bit of electrical stuff too. What did I see there? The chatter is this piece. This piece is suddenly just quivering like a son of a gun right in here. That's the loud chatter. So the buzz is the relay. Chatter is this. Okay. What's all that mean? You sure this is doing nothing? Pretty sure. Well, I don't know what to do at this point. Still making new observations. Yeah, I'll look at that manual over a little bit, drink some more coffee, and see if some more ideas don't come up about what could be dealt with. What is this curious part right here? It's a strong metal piece coming right over to the capstan and stopping right up against it, just a fraction away from the capstan. Well, what are they trying to do there? Trying to keep tape from wrapping around it. It seems like a very odd piece. It's all fixed in place. Nothing's moving relative to each other. Lots of momentum in the motor. What's the buzz? What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. Where's that coming from? This is the one that worried me. I don't know. That's odd. That sounds almost like something spinning down. That's another 0 spot. How many speeds has this thing got? Because it's gonna. Did this just speed up? No, I think all that happened. No, it's okay. It's okay. Definitely need a break. There's the buzzy sound again. See a little bit of action here. Watch right here. This opened. Is this the switch I was seeing in the diagram? Because if I close this, away goes the motor. So the sound fades away too. There's another switch like it over here, the lever coming up. There's lots more to find out about this machine still. Takes time. Takes time to make the observations. Power off. I'm not so worried about that buzzy sound anymore. if something bad was going to happen, it probably would have happened by now. Smoke and flames. Okay, coffee time, ponder. Read the manual. Okay, I've been studying this for a while. I think I've got some of this sorted out. The main thing is to try to understand what is happening here. And I think what they're trying to show is that this arrow represents play, and this one represents these two, fast forward. There's two because it's faster, and this is rewind. So you see, so this symbol is that little gear shift control that I move to put it into play or fast forward or rewind. Every time you move this, you pull it forward, and that's what this arrow is indicating. And so these contacts are slid. I don't understand what this one's ever doing because it goes from here to here. Well, what is it doing? These aren't going anywhere. This one, if you slid it forward one, you would connect this line to here. This line, so you can see it coming right out of the transformer, right out of the power transformer. Looks like 22 volts written here. I'm not sure that's applied to it, and it's heading back in here for reasons I don't understand, but it looks like it's also headed to the motor. So we have outside of this winding. Oh my gosh, do they put, there's no, do they use dots or wires? So wires T connect. I gotta see how they did this. Schematic, show me a connection here somewhere. Is there no, I don't know, wires connected in here? Just want to see how it's showing. So here's another T. Here's a cross. There's no dot. So I can't imagine they're connected here. But they won't bother with a dot where there's a T because you must understand it's connected there. And I don't see any dots anywhere on any of these connections. Oh my gosh. So they've carefully drawn this so like this is not a connection. If this was a connection, what would they do? I just don't see any anywhere. They're so clever in drawing the schematic that at no point are there two lines connected where they cross. Look at it in here. Okay, so there's just literally no connections in this, and if there is, they're shown as a T stop on the wire. Yikes. Okay, that makes this hard to look at. So, getting back here, so we're wondering about this. This goes to ground. This must be the supply line, as much as I think it's upside down. But this must be the negative supply side. Well, it's AC. It's AC. It's AC coming out of here. They're doing something back this way, but not this way towards the motor. Well, what would they have? They have a winding that drives absolutely everything, including the motor. Like there's only one secondary winding here. If I got this right, and this is the plug coming in, some kind of switch deal there. This complicated thing here for picking voltages. So I guess you're just selecting, there's 3 windings in here you can select from, maybe 4 combinations, maybe even 5 combinations you can pick here, maybe more. Okay, that's what's happening there. You have center tap secondary. The center you would imagine goes to a ground. Kind of looks like it the way it's in here. It says 35 volts on it. Is this heavy line is the ground line? Is that what that is? Heavy line. Probably the heavy line is the ground. And they're just never going to call it that. Or show it as that. Ooh! Speakers! Wow, was I ever out? Speakers? Out of here? Okay, not to worry about that. I'll probably never have to worry about that. Get back to the switch. So, we activate the switch. It then closes this. The motor's already running. The motor's already running. Now, how come the motor's running? Because of this switch. how can I do this? 1, 2, 3, but there's only 2 spots. What are they doing here? Yikes. Well, here we are. So it looks like when you push it into fast forward, you are at the same time pushing this. I guess over here? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oh. Meanwhile, there's a diode floating around out here laughing at me. What the heck is going on here? Well, the motor supply. So the motor's shown with 3 wires. And there's 2 capacitors down here. My guess is the synchronous motor needs these capacitors for a phase shift to kick the motor into starting. That's what this probably is. So the supply is probably this wire to this wire. That's how I would like to show it if I were drawing this. So this has to be over here. This has to be over here. What's that? 15W DGA25. What is that? Is that a fuse? And it comes down here and picks up this side. The other side is heading out this way. Yeah, there we are. So we get one side here, through here, through here, through here to the top, and the other side is to the bottom here. Okay, fine. And you have these weird switches. Why are they weird? Because you have to have both these in the closed position. What is this switch then? So this switch shows a dotted line coming out this way. Oh, so it's a ganging of these. This is all one. This is the on-off switch. And right now it's showing off. Off, off. Well, why would they bother with this? Why would they bother with that? They should have shown this switch sitting right on top of here. Shame. Or I'm just not getting it right. Another capacitor in here. This is probably a switch sparky control capacitor or something like that. 15 watt DGA. Dumb Jim. And then this supply heading back this way. This must just simply be a rectified DC supply. Here's a big capacitor here, so they're trying to rectify it, and then they're going to utilize it in this circuitry. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is the power supply to produce a nice DC for the rest of the machine. I don't know. They didn't label these. They don't have big labels on these circuits. Bias. I don't know. Okay, am I getting anywhere here at all? So what would we expect this relay to do? You would expect it, it's called a stop, to be involved in stopping. I got stop written in capitals, and then after is this word, relays. That's an incorrectly spelled relay word. It's not supposed to be stop relay. This is 2 separate things. They put a stop label on here. Auto stop. The automatic stop would happen for 2 reasons. 1, no tape. 2, the tape is finished and some metal is going through here. In both cases, you're activating this relay. When the relay activates, these open. If you disabled the stop foil and you disabled the tape playout, wherever that is, here, the tape playout, I kind of lost touch with it. Anyway, that's right. I'm thinking this is that tape tensioner switch. If I disabled this, all that would happen is the machine would continue operating when the tape had played out. And there's no harm in that. Except when the tape gets all the way through the pinch roller, it'll spin at a very high rate on the take-up reel. That's the only consequence. But I could disable this chattering relay. Now this chattering relay, does it really do anything more than what I've realized so far? If I were to disable it, would it, like, is it trying to do something, and if I disable it, something's going to go up in smoke? Well, what would go up in smoke? Well, how come it's chattering anyway? Lack of voltage. So these things chatter because they open when they operate. They either open or close by magnetism, and in doing that, somehow the supply to the coil, it drops. And so it operates the other way, and then the supply returns and it closes again. Well, why would that happen here? Why would that happen? So what are they showing up here in this diagram? They're showing, like, what is this? What is this? This. Just by the way that they position this, it looks like this dotted line is connected to this. And the dotted line appears to be disappearing inside this coil with a magnetic core, or an iron core. So this thing's energized, it moves the dotted line up and down and operates this. What is this guy doing over here? They wrote the word stop. Kind of a weird place. Wouldn't they write it up here? Stop relay. I think I can disable this and the machine will operate, for all intents and purposes, normally, and will overcome its problems. To disable this, all I got to do is find this wire, or here. Stop foil. You write these words close together. Stop foil. It's got to be what it is, though. Yeah. Okay. So I just got to find this wire or this wire and cut it. Now I should go down by the relay and look at the wires that are coming in. Is there any notations here? Not really. There should be 1, 2, 3 wires associated with this relay. Let's go look. 3 wires on the relay. Can I tip this up on its side? I cannot. Okay, let me just pull the plug here because I left the power on. Shameful. I think I'm going to stand this up and hold it. Hold it up. It's a little awkward. Okay. Okay. Here's the relay. There's the cable, and there's 3 wires coming at it. Purple, a black, and a yellow striped one. Yellow and green striped one. White and green striped, a black. Black is usually ground, and the purple, didn't we see purple already? Didn't we see a purple wire? Was it purple? Yeah, it is. It's a purple wire right here coming to this. It's probably the same piece of wire. So that purple wire can't be the one. The one we would either do cut this guy is coming up to the top. I can really desolder it. I can desolder it from here. If you notice, these 2 contacts look identical here, so these are probably the coil contacts. The black wire appears to be coming to this one, and the striped wire appears to be coming to this one. Take the striped wire off, relay stops, no consequence to the machine, and the problem is resolved. Coffee time. I have to think about these things before I do them. Yeah, all this is being done just in an effort to find out if this tape recorder works. Like, for all I know, there's another 20 problems inside this thing. Okay, let's get a hold of the wire. There we go. Fixed. I fixed a car once, one of my cars years ago, by doing exactly the same thing, disabling a feature. So my car, like a lot of cars, had a lock-up torque converter automatic transmission, and the lock-up torque converter wasn't unlocking. So this is common in these cars. It was an old beater. I drove around quite a few old beaters when I was younger, and my family was young because of money and resources. We drove old beaters. So with the lock-up torque converter remaining locked up, the car stalls every time you stop, and you can't drive it like that. So I took it to a mechanic. He said to me, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to replace the transmission on this car." I bought this car for $400, and he wants $1,200 to change the transmission in a car that's probably got a year left of it. So I said, "No thanks." Went to another mechanic. Got the same story. Took me in the back. Go, "Look, I got 5 of these transmissions here. I can pop it on there. $1,000." The whole time I'm thinking they're gonna nip that. Well, I didn't know that at the time, okay? But in retrospect, I'm thinking what they know is they can nip that wire, make $1,200, and send me on my way. So I continued to drive the car. Very, very problematic. Getting worse and worse and worse. And meanwhile, I'm studying, reading, and thinking. And one day, it just dawned on me: why don't I just disable the feature that causes the transmission to lock up? It turns out there's a wire that runs down to the side of this automatic transmission with a plug. You don't even cut it, you just unplug it. The lock-up torque converter never locks up again. Problem solved. $1,200 stays in my pocket. Pair of cutters. Well, it wasn't cutters. I pulled the connector off. So I guess that story is very parallel to this one. Except I don't think I'm going to drive this. Are we ready to try it now? Because now it has a chance. It has a chance. It has a chance. You have a chance, man. Okay. Plugged in, power on. Okay, switch on here. Now, I haven't got this held over. I don't have a tape in place. I'm going to stop, put a tape in, go chat with my wife for a little bit, and then we're going to try this guy. Okay, got a tape in here. And it does go almost perfectly straight across. Very easy, just drop it right in. No threading. What would I be concerned about at this point? Nothing. Concerned of nothing. Okay, applying power. Now, the reel here is bumping up against this wire. I can't. Oh, that's just not going to work there, is it? Quickly, power off. That's really not what we want to see. I got to try to solve this power cord problem here a little better. This clip thing it's high risk. See, it just popped right off there, and son of a gun, if it didn't short. That was on too. That was live. That was a near miss, in fact. Maybe it could have bumped my finger or something. Okay. Ready for another try. Just tightening this up to make sure the tensioners are up far enough. We don't have the tape twisted. You have the speed on 0. I'm going to put the speed onto what I'm guessing is 1. Why guess? It's 1, I can tell. Right down there. I think it's 1. Okay, power on. Plug is in. Power is on. The motor's going already. How come the motor's going? I thought you had to turn this on. These are on. I don't know. Maybe it's all a good sign. Isn't this different now? Didn't it buzz when the motor was off? Some weird stuff going on here. Let's just go for it. Well, I would say at this point we need some speakers hooked up. Sure, so you can see the tensioner is showing you the problem here of this. There we go. Sure is slow. There is another problem here which probably needs to be resolved before playing this. We can try it as it is. And the problem is, let me stop it here. I wish I knew what that buzz was. I have to wait till the smoke shows up. So looking at these swing forward and push the tape up against the head. This one has a bit of cloth in it here. Can you kind of see that? The other one, she's empty. It's just a piece of metal. So I think this piece of felt, which comes across here, is missing from here. So it's just metal pushing it up against the head here, and I can see it's a little bit in contact anyway. What is that sound? Ooh, careful, Jim. We got to hear this play. We got to hear this play. So the next step, logically, is to plug in the speakers. I'm going to do that. Good. Okay, fantastic. We're getting there. Okay, got the speakers up on my bench now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 speaker outputs here for 2 speakers. So I think all I can do is kind of guess which 2 would be the right ones. We'll try that one. Okay, we'll try this one here. There we go. Okay, check our power wires here, make sure they're good, because they are precarious. Speakers in. This is it. This is the big test. And we have, these were both volume, were they left and right? One was tone, and I can't remember. Turn them both up, 30% or so, something like that. All these buttons, what do they all do? Where's the cover? Where did the cover go? What did I do with the cover to this? It was right here a moment ago. Ah, the heck with it. Yeah, I need the cover. Okay, let me go find the cover. What did I do with it? Okay, speakers hooked up, everything ready to go now. Got the magic plate on here. Speaker volumes are here. And that's all we got to do. I'm not sure what these are. 1, 2. That's why I'm going to play this. Are we all set? Is there anything more I got to think about? Power on. Motor spinning. Okay, put this down a little bit. We don't know what to expect. Listen to that buzz. When I hit this up, we may just hear blasting hum out of these speakers. I don't know. Wouldn't this all be on now? Probably is. Okay, here we go. Not a lot coming out of that. So this is treble and bass here. So they don't matter where they're set. What about these buttons? Would appear to be slow. Okay, so this could be very embarrassing. Speed control. What are the speeds? So right now we are in speed 1, 2, and 3. That could be my son's.
Like or on Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. How do you like this game?
Very well. Very good, and very fun.
Yeah, any other games you really like for N64?
Yes, I think it's banjo and kazooie.
Anything else in this range that you like?
Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay, now we're over to Sean. What do you like about this system?
So that's my older son interviewing my younger son about the Commodore 64 computer we had just gotten at that time. So this would be 1993 or so. And that's literally the first time I've heard them on this tape since way back then. Boy, oh boy, that's 2 thumbs up. I think that's 2 thumbs up for sure. In fact, you know what? That's 4 thumbs up. You didn't know I had 4 thumbs. That's 4 thumbs up on this. Very exciting. Lots more to figure out about this in terms of recording, and what about the tracks, and what about the this and that and the other thing, but wow. What about this, that, and the other thing? I'm very excited. That's fantastic. So I'm going to end it here and probably get back to the 1937 tube radio. I'm nearly done. Wow, I can't believe I did this. And I go away and pat myself on the back. See you on the next video. Bye.